Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, I think we do what's right for our personalities and what our goal was. Dion was uh I guess the right way to say it is finished raising kids. And so they were in their 20s, and so he's kind of like, hey, so we can kind of do this and like build my portfolio, and the only person that has to support is me,
Mm.
and his lavish traveling itineraries. But I think that that's the key. And so, when I was going into it, I was like waiting to start a family and building my businesses and building my career and doing those things and putting my wife through nursing school. And so when I finished all of that, it was like, okay, then we sped up our process, but I recognized that I was only entering into that phase where now I've got a 5-year old, a 4-year old, and a 2-year old. And that's a lot. And they're expensive. They like to eat a third of anything I serve them. And so, when Dion says he became an amazing cook, it was because he had 4 people that ate different things. And so I become the human garbage compactor and eating whatever they left.
Mm.
But that's, for me, it was like looking at those things and recognizing, okay, time horizon wise, I'm at the beginning of my journey from a fatherhood perspective. And so I'm going to have to pay for all of these things, and I'm not going to have a job while they're growing up. So
Yeah.
I knew I was going to have a bigger nut to kind of work from. And that was okay. But the only way that I could do that was recycling capital, creating relationships with banks, doing some of the things that we did that were different, because the end result was going to be a whole lot bigger. And even, and Dion and I see it, like, he's seen almost no good deals in a year and a half, and it's like, so I had to add them when I can add them. And
Mm-hmm.
I went on a buying spree because I was getting debt at 3.75 and 4. And so I purposely, recycled capital, recycled cash. We went all into the strategy because I knew what the other side was going to look like. I knew that rates weren't going to stay at 3.75 or 4. We knew that they were going to 6 or 7 or 8, and then that banks were going to de-risk. So they weren't going to do 20% down payments anymore. They were going to be 30, and everything was going to get more expensive. And then there was going to be that much less coming on the market because people were buying at 2.75, 3, 3.5. So,
Yeah.
in looking at all those situations, thankfully we guessed pretty right. But at the end of the day, it's just
Yeah.
the difference of the strategy of what my requirement was to be able to reach financial freedom versus Dion's.